Kamala Harris is now challenging Donald Trump to a cognitive test. This is poetically perfect. It's not Kafkaesque as much of what Trump does is. This is actually perfect. Now, we are 7 days from this election. We are, as much as I would love to see it, we are not going to see both candidates sitting down to be tested for dementia or receiving cognitive or IQ tests. But I would love to see it. And what's absolutely spot on about Kamala Harris now starting to say we should do a cognitive test is that to the naked eye, even to an unsophisticated rube as myself, when I hear Donald Trump speak and I hear Kamala Harris speak, it's very obvious who is fully in command of their cognitive faculties. And it's not the oldest ever presidential candidate, presidential major party nominee, Donald Trump. It's Kamala Harris. So here is video of Kamala Harris during a CBS Mornings interview saying, listen, Trump wants cognitive tests. Let's do it. We should absolutely do it.
Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan, and he called you, Madam Vice President, a very low IQ person and said, I think she needs to take a cognitive test. I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her. Would you take a cognitive test?
Sure. I would challenge him to take the same one. But here's the thing. This is what he has resorted to, and I think he actually is increasingly unstable and unhinged, and has resorted to name calling because he actually has no plan for the American people. But on the point of why Donald Trump is unfit to be president of the United States, don't take it from me. Listen to the people who know him best. His former chiefs of staff, most recently, 4-star Marine General John Kelly. Listen to 2 former secretaries of defense who worked for him. Listen to his national security advisor. Listen to his vice president, who have all, in one way or another, said he is unfit to be president again, should never be president again, and is dangerous. It has become clear from the people who know him best, all Republicans, by the way, who served with him in the Oval Office and the Situation Room, not to mention Donald Trump's own words.
So listen, there is one candidate in this presidential race who very obviously does not suffer from cognitive decline, and it's Kamala Harris. Now, later, we are going to do a deep dive. This is really good stuff. We're going to do a deep dive later on a linguistic analysis that was done of Trump's speech, Biden's speech, and Harris's speech, looking for decline. And I will give you the results. I don't think they will surprise you. I want to say just one other word about the whole cognitive test format. Donald Trump insists that, what was it now, 4 years ago, he passed a cognitive test with flying colors. That was the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. And what many neurologists have said since is that that's a test for relatively advanced cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's, and that much of what Trump seems to be suffering from would not really be covered by that test. There are other tests that could be done and might be better. Now, I'm going to give you a list of them. I'm not saying all of these would be better, but the point is there are many other tests. There's the mini mental state examination. There's Addenbrook's cognitive examination, the St. Louis mental status examination, the cognitive abilities screening instrument, the trail making test, the neuropsychological test batteries, the Hopkins verbal learning test. I could go on. The point here is what Trump seems to be suffering from that is picked up when you do a linguistic analysis might not be reflected in the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, but these other tests would likely pick it up. In addition to this, Trump took the Montreal Cognitive Assessment 4 to 5 years ago. I don't know what would happen if he took it again. 4 to 5 years is not an insignificant amount of time. And it would be interesting, if nothing else, to have Trump take that test again. Will they be tested between now and next Tuesday? They will not. Now, a nice bonus clip from this same interview that Kamala Harris did. Kamala Harris talking about Trump and the people around him increasingly pointing to him as having problems. I believe that this is not the exact same response that we just listened to? Let's double check that.
And said, I think she needs to take a cognitive test.
It is exactly the same clip. So we already listened to it. I could play the same clip for you back to back. It would be a little Trumpian of me to just like completely forget that I just played this clip. It's the same clip. That's an error, and I'm correcting it on the fly. So Kamala Harris making a very good point here, which is you don't just need to listen to liberal pundits or pundits, as many of them wrongly say. I still don't know why. Pundits talking about fentanyl. Even the people around Trump recognize the danger that he represents, whether it's Caroline Matthews, whether it's Cassidy Hutchinson, John Kelly. You know, you can find people from within or outside the military, male or female, younger and older, every demographic covered in those who used to work for Trump and don't believe him to be fit. So we will see ultimately what the country decides. I wish we had that cognitive test coming. We don't. We'll just have to vote. I wrote a book. This was so much work and a long time coming, but I am thrilled about how it turned out, and I hope you will read it. The book is called The Echo Machine. The 10-second summary is I explain how things broke in American politics, how to fix it, and which countries have already figured it out. No matter who wins in November, we need a plan, and that's what the book is about. If Trump wins, the book is a warning about how we got here and how to prevent it from getting worse. If Kamala Harris wins, the book explains what we do with this incredible opportunity to improve the lives of Americans. The book faces long odds, I will admit. There's the belief that to have a successful political book, you need corporate media, and that it really can't be done successfully with an independent media platform like mine. But I believe that we can prove them wrong. I hope you will order the book today. You can get The Echo Machine at davidpakman.com/echo, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, anywhere that books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. You can also call any local bookstore, ask them to order The Echo Machine by David Pakman. No matter where you get the book, you will get the free pre-order bonuses, including a signed book plate. After ordering, just go to davidpakman.com/freebookstuff. davidpakman.com/freebookstuff to get the free stuff. Let's do this.